everybody, I'm back, honey. I am back with some more commentary content. So I'm back today, y'all. Listen, it went down last night in these YouTube streets. It went down. It was the real comedian Latrese Allen versus Chopping It Up with Ross. And I'm going to get into some things. I'm going to talk about it. So, a little bit of background about these people and who they are. Because, like I said, commentary is new on my channel. So, this is new content. So, y'all be like, who are these people that you just started rambling to talk about? So, the real comedian Latrese Allen, she is a Facebook famous, she popped off on Facebook, going live, and so she's gained a wonderful following on Facebook. I think she has like millions of views. Like she's doing the dang thing on Facebook. She came up on Facebook. She has an interesting story. She was once, in poverty, struggling. Yeah, as I was saying, so the real comedian Latrese, she is she's someone that came up on Facebook and built a really large following. She has an interesting story. She came from poverty, losing her kids in the system, to getting her kids back, getting out of poverty, and really building a brand and building a following of people who support her no matter what. Now, she's a different type of woman. She's not the prim, proper, politically correct type of woman, as you probably can imagine. She's going to give you the raw, the real, the unfiltered her at all times. I'm talking about, you may see her on here, hawking up some spitting in a cup. You may see her on here yelling at her children. You may see her on here with her hair all over her head. You're just going to see some untraditional things that people normally wouldn't show on the camera. She's a different type of character. And so with that, there are a lot of people who support her and follow her, who are drawn to her because of that. And then there are some people who are like, I don't like that. And they that has sparked people to talk about her and give commentary on her. Me personally, I started watching her a couple of years ago, and I was, in a relationship, and I was going through some problems, and I used to just watch her to give me a good laugh. Like, I used to just watch her to, like, let my hair down and laugh. Like, she'll get on there, and she would talk about, honey, look, I had to wash my coochie. I had to make sure my coochie was clean. Like, she get on there, and she say some stuff that you like, I cannot believe you just said that. So I liked it, the realness, and I like the realness and the rawness. Would I do a lot of the things that she do? Would I make a lot of decisions that she make? No. A lot of people, the trending topic about her right now is she has changed, or she has let the money change her. Do I feel that way? Not so much. I just feel like she's someone who has a lot of, she does things in an untraditional way. She may not make the best decisions, and unfortunately it is playing out on the internet to see. So with that being said, but yeah, like I was saying, so with that being said, let's get into who Chopping It Up with Ross is. So Chopping Up with Ross is just a commentary person. She's doing what I'm trying to get into. She's reacting and she's commentary. She's reacting and commentating on people's life, right? And that I don't have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's what I want to do. But the thing about Ross is, which has made her a character in this whole drama that played out last night, was she is one of the primary reactors on Miss Latrese. So all of her recent videos are going to be about Latrese. Everything Latrese do, everything Latrese say, anything Latrese got going on, she gonna talk about it. Okay? If Latrese blow her nose the wrong way and put it down the wrong way, Ross gonna talk about it. If Latrese got her shirt on backwards, Ross gonna talk about it. Ross is gonna talk about Latrese. She gonna talk about everything she do. Which, like I said, you can't really tell people how to react and how to run their channel, right? So I don't really have a problem with that either. But here's where it gets a little fuzzy for me, and here's why the drama popped off, and here's where my thought and my opinion came in on it. So basically, Latrese made a decision a couple months ago or whenever. She started dating this guy named Coco. Now, Coco was in prison. He was prison bae. He probably put that good jail talk on him. You know how that happened. And he got out, and Latrese was taking care of this man. She moved him into her home with her children. You know what I'm saying? She was buying him this, buying him that. She was really trying to put him on. She was trying to make him successful. She was trying to invest in him. And I mean, we all know somebody who done did that. I mean, you may not know, but everybody may not know. But I know people who have helped somebody or had a man that was in a less fortunate situation. They had to kind of carry the weight. I mean, we see it every day. I'm not saying that it's common. Like, I ain't saying your homegirls over there doing that, but we all have seen this before. So it's not like this is something that is just terribly wrong that she did, but for her to be a public figure with so much success, I ain't gonna lie, everybody was kind of looking like, girl, what you doing? You finna do what? The man out of jail and he finna move you to your house and do what now? So I ain't gonna lie, we all were taken aback by the whole her having a man and him not having no money and him and her just taking care of him. We all was taken aback by that as followers and supporters, right? So with that, everything took a turn for the worse. Everything went downhill because, as expected, there was a breakup. It was a couple of breakups, but she took them back. They had a couple of spats, and she would get on there. They would get to arguing. Miss Latrese, I'm speaking of Miss Latrese. Miss Latrese would get to arguing with a man. They'd have a breakup. And we were kind of in the business of the relationship. The followers, the supporters, we were kind of seeing the relationship take a spirally tumble downhill, right? So we all, I think everybody who watched her pretty much saw the breakup coming, right? So Latrese and this guy Coco, they break up. They have a nasty old breakup. That final breakup was a nasty one. They dogging each other out. They talking about each other. I'm talking about he accusing her of having some uncleanly business practice. He accusing her of being on pills. He accusing her of being just not who the public loves her to be. You know what I'm saying? He dogging her. She dogging him. She's saying he was abusive. She got video of him running up on her in the warehouse when they get into it. I mean, it got ugly. But once again, I ain't gonna say the gift, but I can look at things for what they really is, right? I can look at things holistically instead of nitpicking the small details. Even though all this slander was going on back and forth between Miss Latrese and Coco, it all was in general a bad breakup. And we see that happen too. We see people get mad, break up, dog each other the hell out, cuss, fuss, fight, raise sand, and then it eventually goes away. So I never really too personally got invested in the whole back and forth between Latrese and Coco. Okay, I never did because I just feel like these just two people who broke up. They dogging each other out right now, but eventually they're gonna get over it and everything gonna die down. They may not get back together, but I mean they're not gonna be arguing forever because they once had love for each other. They once was all booed up, hooked up, whatever. So that type of stuff, I don't get into that because I don't get invested in people breakups. Just like when these other YouTube couples break up, I don't get invested in that because I feel like everybody had their own personal relationship with each other. They have their own personal feelings. When emotions get involved, things can go left. So I don't really get too heavily on one person's side or the other. That's why in my last video with Carmen and Corey, I'm not on the side of the breakup. I mean, I feel bad for Carmen, but I'm not totally against Corey either. But that's a whole other story. I don't really pick sides when people break up because it's just, unless it's like my close friends and I physically can see them getting hurt or whatever. If it's somebody I don't know, I'm not getting into an internet side on who was wrong, who was right, because we don't know what go on behind closed doors in people's relationship. So with that being said, I said all that to say that Coco breakup is what sparked a whole lot of chatter on the internet about Latrese. Now, people are already talking about her because, like I said, she displays a lot. She have a lot of drama going on. She don't have a lot of falling out. She don't have a lot of stuff happen. But that right there, that took it over the top, and that's what really sparked the commentary and the reaction channels to really, really get heavily invested in the situation because he was making some accusations against her. She was making some accusations against him, and it was spiraling out of control. So here's where Ross comes into play, right? Ross comes into play because, of course, she's doing commentary. She's doing commentary, and from what I'm viewing, she's kind of feeding off of all the negative things that Coco is putting out here about Latrese, because what she has already thought, her thoughts and opinions on Latrese is that she's, scamming people. You know what I'm saying? She's ghetto. She ain't running a good operation over there. All the things that Ross had been kind of putting out there as far as her thoughts and opinions on Miss Latrese, Coco is like solidifying that with this whole breakup. So, in my opinion, Ross is kind of feeding off of the beef between them two. And now there's someone else coming forward sharing the same sentiments that she has been on here speculating. So she gets heavily involved in the situation and she starts to lightly, I wouldn't say she was a diehard Coco fan, but she starts to lightly support Coco. And of course, Latrice probably already had caught wind of who she was because, like I said, she has the most consistent commentary on Latrice. She has the most thorough commentary. She gives very detailed, opinionated commentary. So her videos are a lot more popular than all the other commentary videos. So if Latrice didn't already know who she was before, when she started to do the commentary on the whole Coco situation, it really, really sparked some red flags, and I'm pretty sure Latrice caught wind of it. And of course, Latrice started to clap back and started to say what she had to say and started to throw her shade, as expected, right? I mean, if somebody's talking about you and now they don't join the bandwagon of your ex-boyfriend, they already been talking about you before. They join the bandwagon of your ex-boyfriend, they keep talking about you. It's gonna be some shade thrown both ways. So that's pretty much what happened. Latrice caught wind of her kind of supporting Coco, and she would make subliminals in her videos, basically saying like, I know you're watching, so on and so forth. You know how people is when famous people do when they feel like they have someone that's hating on them or clocking them or whatever. So Latrice basically she's continuing to live her life unapologetically. She's continuing to show us every aspect of her life. She's continuing to not give a damn. Well, Ross decides that she wants to take it a step further, take her commentary and her videos a step further, and she starts to bring on people that work for Latrice, that had some type of dealings with Latrice, and they're starting to give their experience with Latrice, and on the platform, Latrice is pretty much painted out to be a janky business owner and a bad person, and like I said, people can do commentary and they can give their advice on or their opinion on what someone else is doing. Nothing wrong with that. But Ross always states in her videos that the purpose of her commentating and giving her opinion is because Latrice is listening, and some of these things Latrice can probably take from and help her. Her statement was that she wants to help Latrice. She wants Latrice to do better. That's what she's saying, that all of her commentary is about. Her excessive commentary, her nitpicking, all of that is about Latrice doing better. And she's not going to stop talking because she knows Latrice is watching and Latrice can do better. And while I do agree that commentary is helpful, because when people get to talking and buzzing, there are some positive changes that you may see public figures make based off what the public is saying. So like I said, I'm not against commentary, but here's where it starts to get fuzzy for me. The Coco and Latrice, that breakup was definitely commentary worthy. It was a lot of drama going on. It was some good content for people to react off of, in my opinion. Okay, cool. But when we start to get into the daily interactions that someone has, how they raise their kids, what their hair look like, what outfit they got on, how they chewing their food, did they wash their face when they got up this morning, did they brush their teeth, how clean they house is, did they buy a kitchen table, how they new house look they bought. When we start to get into all that, that's where things can start to get fuzzy, and that's where you have to tread lightly, because now it gets personal, right? It goes from you just talking about a general situation that everyone else saw play out on the internet to now you are talking about their daily life and what they're doing. And some people are still able to do that and be successful because they know how to do it in a way where it's still respectful, and they know how to do it in a way where it's coming across as if they're just giving advice and not being degrading. And that's where the line gets fuzzy. For example, there's a beautiful lady I watch. I love her videos. I love her audience. TMR. When TMR reacts to people, it's respectful. Yes, she talks about the day. She does a lot of commentary on the mom crew, like the Strong Mommy Chrissy's, Live Lives, Jazz Life. She does commentary on people like that. People, the mommy vloggers, moms who daily vlogs. And she very well gives commentary on what they display in their day-to-day life. But she does it in a respectful way. She does not talk about every single thing they do. Like if they dropped a piece of food out their mouth on their shirt and ate it, she not gonna point that out. She talks about what the general public is observing and may have an opinion about, and she does it in a very respectful way. She has given commentary on some of their parenting styles, but it's never been malicious. There has been no name calling, and it's always in a tasteful, I'm just telling you what I would do, or here's some advice type of way, or hey, you may not want to do that. That's the stance that she comes from. And I know everybody's not her, right? Everybody does not have a nice, sweet way to put things. Some people are more blunt and straightforward. Some people's commentary is more rah-rah. But here is where I think that people and its reactors, here is where I think the line gets fuzzy. When you started to cross into those personal waters, when you start calling people unfit parents, you look nasty, you nasty. Like when you start name calling, and when you start saying trigger words like unfit, terrible mother, when you start doing stuff like that, you need to be strapping up your boots and getting ready for war. Because now you're taking it beyond just talking about a situation, an isolated situation that happened. Now you're taking personal jabs at this person. And don't get me wrong, that comes with the territory of coming on somebody's life. You may give your personal opinion on something they have going on personally. But I think that even a dog deserves respect. I think that, we get so caught up in talking about the tea about somebody else's life that we have to step back and realize everybody is human. And I think that's what people forget. Everybody is human. No two people are going to live their life identical. Everybody has their own beliefs. Everyone has their own mannerism. Everybody has their own way of doing things. And while it's okay to give advice and talk about some things that are traditionally not okay, or something that most people don't do, it's not okay when you start to dig, attack, and nitpick. And so where this drama with Ross and Latrese starts to spiral out of control is how Ross is starting to come across, in my opinion, as a viewer. It went from her being a really nice, respectful lady, giving respectful commentary, to now we name calling. Now we calling people bad parents. Now we saying her kids ain't changed their clothes. Now we're taking personal digs. And her justification for that may be that, well, hey, she saw my videos and she started talking about me in her videos. She don't call me names. And I can get that. I can definitely get, because Latrese has definitely clapped back and thrown some shade because of Ross' video. So I understand. However, when you got to be ready for the war. And so what I don't understand is, while it's okay to clap back and to have you all's banter back and forth and you all's shade back and forth, you cannot go into victim mode if you're going to be commentating on someone else's life. Meaning, when they clap back at you and when they start popping their junk and when they start name calling and doing whatever they doing, it's not for you to rally up and oh my God, look what she's doing. She's a terrible person. No, hey y'all, Latrese had some things to say. She said this about me. I just want to say this, but I'm going to keep on talking about it. We're going to keep it moving. We're not going to rally up and try to counsel somebody for clapping back. Okay? That's just not how I roll. You cannot talk about somebody and poke at somebody and poke at somebody and poke at somebody, and now that they're clapping back and they going crazy, now we got to get authority involved. Now we got to report page. Now we got to do all this other stuff, right? It is kind of like, now the word on the street is, because of all the commentary that Ross does and because Latrese is fed up and tired, she started saying something about Ross' location. She showed her guns. You know, she's been making some threats. That's what the word on the street is. Like I said, I can't. Latrese goes live for a very long time, so I can't sit there and watch. My ADHD does not allow me to watch Latrese all the time, every single day. But I watch the book of her content, and so I didn't personally see that. But that's what it's been said. She's making threats now. She's making threats, and it's very wrong. And I'm still a human first, right? You can't be out here threatening to take nobody out the game about some words on the social media. You can't be out here, you know, showing your guns and all that. That's wrong. Now, if Latrese is doing that, she's very wrong. However, this is what I put up under Ross's video. How exactly do you expect people to react when you are talking about their parenting? When you are taking personal jabs at them? This is what happens. And not saying that what happened is right, but if you got to understand, certain things are triggers for people. If I am a young black mother who got it out the mud, well, she's not that young, but if I'm a black mom who got it out the mud, that's not being shady, I'm just saying. But if I'm a black mom, I got it out the mud, I came from nothing, my kids was taken, I got them back, and then somebody on the internet trying to play with my parenting, trying to put out a narrative that I'm neglecting my kids, saying I don't feed my kids, saying I don't spend time with my kids, saying this and that, whether or not this is what I'm displaying or not, I'm ready for war. And just because we feel like just because the public may feel like she doesn't spend enough time with her kids, or she doesn't feed her kids the right things, or she doesn't clothe her kids in the right things, this is this lady's kids. Everybody ain't gonna clean house the way you clean house. Everybody ain't gonna raise kids the way you raise kids. I know some people, I see people in real life that don't raise their children the way I raise their children. I know people who kids ain't got not now bedtime. My child got a bedtime. I know people who, their kids don't eat candy. My child eat candy. Everybody does things differently. So when you start to talk about someone in their life because they're a public figure, you got to set some boundaries on where you ain't going to go, because some topics just get too murky and it can get real disrespectful real fast. I don't know if you all remember all the Keisha Kaylee drama that happened at the top of the year. Everyone was mad at Keisha because she made a statement about and if you don't know what happened, you got to catch up on that. But basically, everyone was mad at her because she made a statement about she went below the belt and she clapped back at her boyfriend's baby mama, whatever. But nobody wanted to talk about people calling her kids slow, people calling her mama slow, people saying she looked like she stank, she got body odor, she got acne. Nobody wants to talk about all the triggering things that you all say to these public figures, and you in the below the belt things that you say that's hurtful. Everybody just want to talk about the reaction. And I'm not saying that people have the right to threaten people with guns or drop their location just because they said something that you didn't like. That's not right either. But what I'm saying is, be fair. If you don't want someone being malicious towards you and trying to drop your address and all that stuff, then limit what you say about them. You can still give good commentary. You can still gain a wonderful audience without name calling somebody, without calling somebody funky, nasty, unfit mother out. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that. You can still have good commentary without all the personal feelings involved. Because at the end of the day, you inserted yourself into this lady business. She was over there minding her business, being her hot mess of herself, if whatever you want to call it. Whatever she was doing, she was minding her business. She didn't ask for, she didn't come for you. She didn't send for you. You came for her. And so I'm not saying that what Latrese do is right. I'm not saying that I will live my life the way she lives. I'm not saying she's a good mama or a bad mama. What I'm saying is I ain't seen her get on here and beat her children. I ain't seen her get on here and starve her children. All I seen her do was put a roof over their head and do the best that she can to take care of them. Now, is she the cleanest person? Could she do better at housekeeping and all that? Definitely. But who am I to make a big deal out of that? Like, we've never known we didn't have a family member or a friend who probably didn't keep house the best way. I don't have any. All my friends keep good house. But what I'm saying is, we have all witnessed this in real life. She is not the first person in the world who yells at her kids all day long. She's not the first person who keep a junky house. She's not the first person who got with a man who was in jail. It happens. And so how personally invested are we going to get? Because if you're going to be that deeply invested in somebody else's business, then strap up your boots and be ready when they come back. The greatest commentaries ain't on here pressing charges and ready to fight and ready to go to war because somebody didn't like their commentary. They're like, oh, well, girl, you don't like what I said? Okay. Now, if you go to drop my address, yeah, I'm gonna probably take some legal action in that way. But we not gonna make no big deal about it. We not gonna make no big ruckus about it. I'm still not gonna say counsel you because at the end of the day, it's all a part of the game. You're living your life. I'm feeding off. I'm to making content based off of you living your life. It is what it is. But that's just my thoughts and opinion. Let me all know what you all think in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.